Hello, in this video we're going to be disassembling this Altus A10 3-speed shifter, model AT10. Let's begin.
I have reinstalled the cover just to illustrate how to remove it if there are any novices amongst us. So there you go, got the cover off. Now you're going to need the number 10 wrench to remove this nut. So you'll be taking this off clockwise. Make sure that there's, by the way, no tension left in the shifter if you're able to detension it. First plate, there's a dot on the top there. Oh, whoops. Spring. You can now lift up the shifter, so there's a pull here, we'll remove that after. So here there's a little E-clip that we need to take off. Very, very thin spacer there. And now we can remove our lever. So the tip of the spring was on that hole right there. If you want, you can remove the kind of main axle by removing, undoing this Allen bolt right here. Just to be aware though, if you're going to remove it, that you need to put it back into the right place, because later on when you're going to put the last plates on, they need to be on a certain position here. These teeth, you can't just put them, you can't put certain plates on any old way. So just to help you, right there, there's an indication of the position. There's kind of like a little square here with a number, and that's kind of going on the left. And sprocket bushing. Right, well that's everything. I'm not going to clean mine. I'm going to actually be giving this to the bike recyclery for someone else that might need to use it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to add on some grease, maybe wipe off a couple of parts, and reassemble it. First thing we're going to do is put back the spring here and the pull for the lever. Okay, so grab the cam and the sprocket. You'll put the number 5 on the right side. Underneath you'll have the spring. So there's one with the tip sticking out. That's going to go right there into that slot. And the tip that's going downwards, that's going to go in the hole at the back of the body, which we'll install shortly. So let's put that on here. There you go. And now the tip will go on the hole that's closest to the axle there. That's cool. Let's slide on the bushing. Check that that's reclining. It is. Excellent. So now we can put our pulls back on. Make sure you put grease on those tiny pivots. And I believe our pull was like this, holding that first tooth. And then our second one. Excellent. And next in order, we have this plastic cover. So you've got this tiny spring for the sprocket, and the longer tip's going to go downwards, and it's going to go in front of, let's say, the pull, the longer tip anyway. So the longer tip's right there. You can now put this seal on. Then grab the lever and seat it on that seal, and also the bushing and the hook goes in between kind of the two pulls there. So here you have this very, very, very thin spacer. And then the thicker one. So now we need to hook up the spring. So the little tip of the spring is going to go hooking onto our hooking right here on the lever. Like so. And now grab a plier. Oops. And so you should have something like this. And next we have this plate. So the tab there is facing downwards. And as I mentioned before about the this axle here, you can only put this in a certain position and that's it. I guess you could test it as well using this plate to see whether everything seats in. Okay, it's looking good. So there's a little E-clip here normally. Okay, so now you'll have that tiny little spring there, and you're going to need to bring up the tip up to this ledge. And the easiest way to do that is to use this kind of nose plier and try and bring it up. It's quite tricky. Got it. So you'll see it's right there. Right, now we've done that. There's a bushing right here. Then we grab our next lever. This is going to be reclined back, and it's going to see in the spacing there, the pull is going to be pushing against the number 5. So let's get that in. That. And now you should be able to test it if you hold the lever down. Obviously there's no return spring on this one yet, but it gives you an indication that you've done everything correctly. Ah, there's a problem. Oh, that's right. There you go. And so finally we've got another spacer. We've got our spring here, so the little tip on the interior facing downwards is going to catch on there, and this is going to be reclined back up to here. There you go. And now we're going to put the nut on, and the reason I'm not putting the other side of that spring back on straight away is because it's pretty annoying to put on. It overlaps, so it's better to just install this now. Got it. Right. And not too tight yet. And now we should be able to put this spring back up here. You can now tighten this a bit more. You don't want to tighten it too much, by the way. And let's just check. Yeah, so everything's working. Right, well, I think that's everything. If you want to put some Loctite there, you can. But I think the video is complete. So, thank you for listening. Maybe one day I'll have the part 2 to finish up. Until next time, peace out. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you've got your cover, which is screwed down.